All right, so we're talking about Sugar Shield, newest product, and how we can shield from sugar. When it comes to managing body composition, overcoming non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Nobody wants fatty liver, right? Nobody wants their liver loaded up with fat. We want to load it up with metabolic activity, but we have to start with food. Without eating real whole foods, we're just, trying to climb a wall that is hundreds of feet high with no rope, no ladder, no spikes, nothing like that. And it's just not going to happen. We're not going to overcome those things. So when we talk about particular nutrients or herbal extracts that can support the body's ability to metabolize sugars appropriately, metabolize fatty acids better, overcome fatty liver disease, change our gut flora, our microbiota, so that it is in a healthier state, more promoting of vitality and vigor and better blood sugar regulation, better body composition. We got to understand that real food comes first. And then we add in the herbal extracts, we add in the different particular nutrients, antioxidants that have, awesome studies on them showing support in this venue. And then we can get awesome results. Food, something that can help metabolism of sugars much better, metabolism of fatty acids much better, and can support us, if we're eating, say, a real food like a starch, say sweet potatoes, purple potatoes, regular potatoes, beets, carrots, even like bananas, apples, different fruits, oatmeal or buckwheat, different grains, whole grains, life-giving, food substance, black rice, wild rice, but yet, we're having difficulty managing our sugars, or we're getting, just super tired after meals because our sugars are spiking and then falling fast, even though we're consuming whole, real food. And a lot of that can be just because our bacterial makeup is not where it needs to be. And maybe we already have some fatty liver going on. I see patients all the time, who have reasonable body composition, but yet have fatty liver, from years of either, eating processed food, being the main culprit, or in a sedentary lifestyle, or maybe drinking lots of energy drinks, or, energy drinks, right? But those are really toxic to us. So Berberine is just an amazing phytochemical found in Oregon grape that can really support that change in blood sugar and help mitigate and down regulate the effects of sugar post meal. So we don't have these huge spikes in blood sugar and end up, feeling like we got to fall asleep after an otherwise whole real food meal. So when I think about using berberine to support somebody's blood sugar regulation, I would think about taking it before your meals that are higher in starches or sugar or fructose. So we're talking about real food here, but maybe it's somebody's birthday or something, or going to a gathering, and you want to minimize as much as you can the effects of, say, a sugary meal or the spike in sugar from a meal. Something to consider is to use berberine, before that meal. So, maybe if blood sugar issues are an issue, or body composition is an issue for you right now that you're trying to mitigate or change, then consider using berberine, before your main higher starch meals, higher carbohydrate meals. Say if maybe it's a lunch and dinner, and there's even some studies suggesting that berberine might actually help with sleep because of regulating the blood sugar response and not having that big blood sugar response post dinner, or like middle of the night kind of thing, or a big blood sugar drop in the middle of the night. So consider using berberine before say breakfast or before lunch or before dinner, whichever one of those meals tends to be the higher starch or carbohydrate content. Berberine could probably have the greatest effect in supporting your blood sugar changes that you wouldn't want to be in an excess, or insulin that you wouldn't want to be in excess, that could lead to more fat gain, and just the undesirableness that comes with blood sugar going high and dropping and making you feel fatigued and worn out, but then later on you're ravenous again, right? So that is why we created the product Sugar Shield with that in mind, using berberine as one of the main constituents, 500 milligrams, to offset the sugar changes that come about with otherwise whole food meals, because so many of us, haven't been living a lifestyle of full-on health accumulation for many, many years. And so we're still trying to get back on top of it. And we're still seeing, big fluctuations in our blood sugar, still seeing, fluctuations in body composition. And we're wanting to see this consistent trajectory in the health accumulation direction, right? And another study showed that berberine could improve intestinal barrier integrity. So we've probably heard of leaky gut, and the fact that so many of us are walking around with a leaky gut all the time, or way more leaking than we like to. Now, there is leaky gut itself. The leaking or the separation of these gap junctions is a normal process. But when that's chronic and when that's in excess, it becomes a problem, and it cites excessive immune and inflammatory response in the body, which can lead to allergies and autoimmunity and that kind of thing, and lots of sensitivities to different foods that nobody wants to have. So berberine has actually been shown to support the integrity of the intestinal lining and actually decrease that leaking as well. In fact, recently there was a study in the Frontiers of Pharmacology showing that September 2021, showing that berberine could ameliorate or alleviate non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This was an animal study, but that's pretty amazing, right? If you can take an animal or a human who has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, so basically a fatty liver disease not because of alcohol intake, and you can actually see that reverse and go away via the use of a phytochemical. I mean, that's just awesome, right? So berberine has cholesterol lowering effects, it has glucose lowering effects, and like I was saying, that postprandial or that post-meal, it can help decrease the increase in sugars, and it can also promote insulin sensitivity. So you've probably heard of insulin resistance before. Insulin resistance is where the body produces more and more and more insulin, trying to make up for the fact that it can't get the glucose, the sugar, out of our bloodstream and into our either our fat stores or into our muscle tissue. And the thing is, the higher insulin goes, the more your insulin is up, the more your body is going to store fat. And it's going to store energy around your abdomen and give you that pooch, and develop, that internal organ fat that nobody wants, and that's associated with all manner of, cardiovascular disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, diabetes itself, metabolic syndrome, hypertension, and generally who wants, just a large bunch of belly fat, right? So berberine is shown to support this ability to metabolize sugars more efficiently, so that you don't end up in that situation. Or if you are in that situation, to help you get out of that situation, along with your, well-rounded, whole foods, nutrient-dense diet. And then as time goes on, of course, we have the whole real food meals, we have the physical activity going on, maybe we're using something like berberine to support us. Eventually, our body's gonna do it on its own, right? Because we're gonna have shifted our flora to support that anti-inflammatory response, that anti-oxidative response. And our bacteria themselves will actually promote a fantastic response to every whole food meal we put into it.